G'day guys, welcome back. It's a bit weird doing it every 2 weeks. Feels like it's been ages since there's been a video go up. But Wrangler's been going incredible. As you can hear, I'm coming over a cold. Em's got the cold, Isabel's had the cold. Ugh, you know how it goes around. But Isabel is on her third day of school today. So third day at high school here in Coffs Harbour. She's actually loving it, so it's actually going pretty well. She's already got a little friends group and all that sort of stuff. But I'll let you know what we're up to and where we're at. So obviously, been working on Jeeps. Actually, I'll give you a look in the van. It's not finished yet, but we've done a conversion in the van because you probably just saw that when I panned around. But while we're this side, so we have converted to a compost toilet. We've gone with the, what is it?
It's the cuddy.
The cuddy. So main reason we went with the cuddy was it's got a charcoal filter inside it. I'll give you a look at it. Charcoal filter, it's got a removable bucket so you don't have to actually take the whole toilet out. And it's still got the removable urine bucket. So it's basically just like the others, like Obi, is it? Ogo, so very much the same as an Ogo, but this one, it's one plug and it becomes a porta potty, so when we go camping and that, we can just take it out and take it with us. Main reason we did the compost toilet was the nearest dump point to us here is like 15 k's away, so a 30k round trip, and doing that every few days is just a pain. And being, you know, we've always whinged about, not whinged, but always had a gripe about how much it costs using a chemical toilet full time. Like, it does add up with 3 people using it. So we'll give the compost a go. I'll give you a look at that in a second, and then we'll go into the shed. All right, just before we go inside, I'll give you a look at the back of it. So this is our old cassette hole here, which is no longer used anymore somehow. So yeah, this isn't used anymore. But basically on the back of the system, you've just got a DC plug, which is for the fan internal. And this is the breather outlet here, which isn't through our floor yet because I've got to get a piece of pipe for it. But that's where I'll show you the good part, the other reason we went with this one. So yeah, basically I'll just have to put a hole in the floor and that'll be going through the floor through a vent. But that's it from the outside. So we'll go inside and I'll give you a look. All right, so here is the, I forget the name again already. Cuddy composting toilet. We haven't screwed it to the floor yet. 2 reasons being, we're not sure how far off the wall we want it, and then I'll screw it down. The worst part with the composting one is you have got this cavity at the back here. So that there, I'm thinking about finding an old wrecked chemical toilet and cutting all the back area off it and making a fascia for it. But yeah, so what do we got? So as I actually said before, if you unplug that DC plug, this is just a portable composting, like a portable porta potty to take camping. So that was a big selling point. So don't stress guys, this hasn't been used yet. So all the compost is still fresh. So in the front, you've got your normal wee hole at the front, and then you turn this to open up for your number 2s. So that's literally all there is under there. There is a cavity to slide that goes through into the wee bucket if you do overflow a bit. But in the bottom section, see if I can do this one-handed, yep. In the bottom section, down the back is the fan, and then in the corner here is a charcoal filter. So at present, it's not actually venting to outside. It's just pulling air from inside, sending it through the charcoal filter back to inside. So it's filtering the air inside it so you don't get any smells. But you've got your compost bucket at the back that just, so you know, as every composting toilet, you give that a spin around a few times and away it goes. But that's the peat moss from Bunnings, so it's like $6 for 4?
It'll be 4 fills. So
4 fills, so
the
4
brick gets cut into 4.
4 fills of this will be $6, so it's considerably cheaper. And in the front, is it a 9 litre?
It is meant to be a 9 litre.
So in the front is your 9 litre urine bucket, so that just lifts straight out and can be emptied. And then this just lifts straight out to be emptied as well. So it's just really, really simple. And like I said, it replaces, and you got an indicator light here for when your wee bucket's full. So yeah, as you can see, it's sort of, it works out a fraction of the price. Like I said, $6 for 4 goes. And then yeah, M just empties that wee bucket like every day. So you just empty it around a tree. And with the compost, it's just straight into a bag in the bin, or bury it. So yeah, and that replaces our porta potty for camping. Well, that's what's happened. So that's there. It's nearly done. Like I said, we just got to work out where we want to mount it.
Yes.
And then this is our old one here. And I was thinking of getting one and cutting it off here, and then that would fill that cavity at the back and make it look a lot neater.
But that's a pretty expensive.
But that toilet's only 6 months old. So I don't really want to cut it up. We might find one that's buggered or something.
Yeah.
Or make something to fit there.
Yeah, probably just make something.
Yeah.
We're crafty enough.
But I'll give you a look at the shed.
Yep.
And show you where we're at. There's the Wrangler. That's all about to change. That'll change in this video. But we'll go for a walk. Alright, so we're in the little workshop shed thing we have here. And as you can see, this is Michael Bowen's Chief. Basically, he's off now till Christmas time, I think, over in WA. So when we're getting ready for Camp Coffs, there was heaps of little wiring niggly issues, and the wiring loom, unfortunately, with a vehicle that's been built over years and years, like this thing's been built over a long time, so it's had little things added and replaced and removed and added over those years, and unfortunately that means there's wiring that's not being used anymore. There's just relays and fuses everywhere, because you know, when you build a car, you haven't got that foresight to say, right, I'm going to put a big fuse box inside and then everything can run from that. You end up just getting it done as quick as you can when you can. So basically 99% of cars that have been built up over time, not in one build, will end up in the same situation. So we've basically ripped out all the interior so I can lay under the dash, and ripped out every bit of wiring that is not factory Jeep. So having the Chev in it, this hasn't even got a factory engine loom. So we just removed anything that had been added in, which was a lot of shit. I'll get him to put in some before photos here of under the bonnet and of the dash, and I'll show you what I've done and the direction we're going with it. But before I do, I'll show you what's behind me, because when I pan around, you're going to see it. So guys, check this out. Ta-da! So what you're looking at here is 7-inch flares. So huge shout out to Jeep Connection for them. They rushed them out, it was awesome. So they're a 7-inch factory style flare. So to look at the Wrangler, it'll look factory, but the flare's actually 7 inches wider. Yeah, unreal. A EFS 2-inch left, so 2-inch shocks, 2-inch coils. So the 31 Kumo MT 31 10.5 15s on the Dynamic old series, like old school series round hole rims. Dynamic were amazing to deal with. We literally ordered them, and then I think it was 2 days they were here. It was incredible. So they were great. EFS, that was just, I think they were just off eBay. And then yeah, Jeep Connection. So in this video, all that will be going on. I think I said last time, we're not going huge and stupid big and all that. That's not the look I'm trying to achieve with it. We want that low, wide, but still be able to go like mildly wheeling in it. So the 31s and 2-inch left will work perfect, as nothing will scrub, nothing will hit, but it won't be too high for them to get in and out of and around, all that sort of stuff. We're going shopping and that. I've already checked them on the car. They're offset, they're a neg 19 offset, so they sit out. That's why we've got the bigger flares. They sit out really nice, but they don't hit the control arms, which is a pretty common issue. So wrapped with all that. But let's get back into this thing. So, under the bonnet, this here used to be all wiring, just a complete nest of wiring and relays and fuses and all that sort of stuff, as you would have saw in the photo. All of that has been removed. The new winch controller's in, so that's the carbon winch solenoid, so the old one has been changed out now. All the fan wiring used to be all here, so all of that is a complete change now. So what we've done now is run all the fan wiring to inside on that side over there, inside the vehicle, and ran 2 big heavy positive and negatives to a buzz bar in there. So now there'll be a fuse box under that side that's powered by straight from the battery from those big leads, and then there'll be relays and everything for the fans and all that under there. So if there's ever any issues now, it will be in that corner. You can basically stick your head under there and find a blown fuse or a failed relay. It'll all be right there, nice and neat, easy to find, easy to diagnose. But yeah, so that's under here. And we had some starter issues. I won't go into too much detail because it's a bit confusing, but there was a bit of an issue with the starter motor and how it was all wired, but we've sorted that, so it's winding a lot better and correctly now. It had a bit of overrun issue before, that's all sorted. Now in here, we have, everything's gone. So all the instrument cluster has been removed. All the switches and gauges from down the bottom there have been removed, which you would have saw in the photo. So basically, all the gauges that were down here will now be in the old instrument cluster. All the switches, the air locker switches that were down here are now going to be up in here. So that way he can just reach up, all the lockers will be right there. It was a bit of an issue before when he was sitting on a steep hill and you pinned back in the seat, you couldn't really reach the bottom of the dash. So all that'll be rectified. And in the instrument cluster, basically the speedo was the only thing that worked in it because everything's aftermarket. It was all just null and void. So we basically gutted all the instrument cluster out, so it was just the fascia itself. And we've laser cut a fascia to sit in it to house the 4 gauges, which will be oil pressure, fuel, volts, and fuel tank, like fuel level gauge. In the middle will be the speedo, and on the right will be a tacho. So before the tacho was just hose clamps and steering column, so that'll be in the instrument cluster now, and all the dash lights will work. So that's where we're at on this so far. Like I said, there is no rush on this. He is away till Christmas, but anyone that knows me knows that we'll get in and get this done ASAP. There is a fair bit of other stuff to do on it, like bushes, brakes, all that sort of stuff will be getting assessed on it. But that's where we're at now. It's basically, I'm just sitting down, going through all the old instrument cluster wiring and deleting what's not needed anymore and insulating all that and getting all that out of the way. Because all we really want out of the original loom for the instrument cluster is the turn signals, an ignition wire and a lights wire. So that's pretty well it from there. But yeah, so that's where that's at. So I might get in, keep doing these wires, and I'm hoping today or tomorrow we'll get the fascia back so I can start wiring up the actual instrument cluster. So the common mistake a lot of people make when they do gauges and everything is just putting the loom on the back of the gauges and leaving it at that. I still want this to have good workability, so it's one thing I really like to be as practical in my wiring. So the car side of the loom, like all your gauges and senders and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to put on a 7-pin plug, and then on the instrument plus cluster I'll put the other side of that 7-pin plug, so that way if you need to pull the cluster out, it's still just one plug as it was from factory. Unplug it and pull the cluster out and work on it. So I'll get in here, keep doing some insulating, and then I'm just trying to, guys, basically I'm just trying to do enough that I can warrant stopping and putting all this on. But I don't really want to pull a Wrangler off the road till the weekend to do all this, because it's so much easier around town, dropping Isabel at school and that this week. So all that can go on. But yeah, so this is the shed. I'll give you a quick look at the shed. So we've got pool table. Obviously the Jeep's in the way at present, but we can just roll the Jeep out and play pool. We're literally playing pool all weekend. We've already got a bit of Jeep on the wall. Pool sticks, or pool cues, whatever you want to call them. Oh, it's probably a bit dark in here, eh? And here's like a bit of a man cave shed. Fold out couch. So you got a bar over here with running water and tap and all that sort of stuff. Straight out the back. Here's a nice little sitting and fire area. Pretty nice. And then in here is the workbench and tools and everything I'm doing. So we've got a nice workbench. This is where I'm playing with all the instrument cluster. So we've got junk everywhere there at present. But yes, so that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing at present. I'll give you a look as we keep going on this and get it together, and we'll get into the TJ. Once the TJ is all done, which is only a day's work, but once it's done, we're doing a bit of work on Michael's TJ as well, on their Wrangler. We'll be covering that in the Jeep Action magazine. Also be covering the Chief, all the work on that in the magazine. Our TJ, all that'll be in the magazine. But yeah, we got a bit of work to do on a J10. Just some brakes and everything on a J10. Timing belt on a cruiser. There's just, yeah, all sorts of stuff, but I'm gonna go in and keep playing wiring. Alright, so as you can see, we're just stuffing around here. We basically just made the switch panel that'll go in the dash where the clock used to go in the factory Jeep dash. So basically this will house, now I've lost them, 3 of these rocker switches, which basically everyone has. One will be compressor, front locker, rear locker. Like I said, they used to be down the bottom, sort of a bit out of reach before, so we just knocked that up. We just got to paint it black, paint some bolt heads black, so it's sort of just a bit nicer, a bit neater. So we finished the new dash plug, so deleted all the wiring, it's not being used anymore, and put the new dash plug on it. So that's all done. So as anyone can see in the videos that think I do so much of this, you would have just saw how much M actually does. Like basically every bit of soldering, all the heat. I tried to sit in there and heat shrink it, but I can't see where to hold the flame to heat the heat shrink, so I couldn't even do that. Like, pretty useless, right? So Em done all the heat shrinking, all the soldering, all that sort of stuff. Even all this, as you would have saw, Em's on the Dremel, on the grinder, cutting it all out, and it worked a treat. Like all the switches, now I can't even tell which way they go, all fit in here beautifully. So nailed that job. But it'll look good black. We should paint it pink, hey? Michael will love that. Paint all the accents pink, the new dash pink. I think we should do that. Leave in the comments if anyone reckons we should do it pink, and give him a surprise when he gets home. But we're going to paint that. Weather's shocking, so I'm going to paint anyway. And then apparently the new dash will be ready to pick up today, so we can get that and start putting all the gauges and everything in it. I think that's sort of up to date. And today's Friday, guys, so for us today's Friday, which means tomorrow I have the Wrangler, because we don't need it for school runs, so it can get pulled down and all the stuff can go in it. So the next thing you'll see is probably be the Wrangler getting torn down.